Cali.
Test your might. Test your might. Get over here! Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Round 2. Fight! How many times you died alive? How many niggas that died alive? How many people that died alive? Left you right or right alive? How many Freddy's you fought alive? How many Lloyds you got alive? How many times you got shot alive? How many niggas you fought alive? Finish him!
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
The king has returned.
Ah, what is? Oh my goodness gracious! Hold on, folks. There we go. There we go. I don't know. That was weird. That my stuff did that. That was weird. But hey, as you heard,
The king has returned.
and we did it, broski. We back.
We're
We back.
man. Oh man, it's been too long, bro. It's been
Too long, man. Hey, but you know what? There was a lot of things that was going on, but we back. And you know, I'ma just say this is our season 2. And you know what?
Yeah.
As any good show goes, it gets only better and better with every season, right? So we're gonna be even better. I know that we had a little bit of a little fart nugget right there where nothing was showing on the screen, but that was just
But man,
OBS being a little bit
it's
weird.
been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. There's gonna be a little bit of rest.
A little rust to shake it off.
Man,
Man,
speaking of, you know, shaking it off and stuff, you know what we have to do, man. Let's get into it.
Play music.
Just watch. Don't believe me, 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 just watch. Hey, 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 oh!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 2-4 Podcast. I am your host, Christian, and with me is my road dog, my brother from another mother, no longer the bearded one, but definitely the redheaded one, Ken Dog. Say what's up to the people, Ken.
What's up, everybody? It's good to be back, man. I'm so excited for upcoming sports, man. NFL starts tomorrow. I mean, man, it
Felt
feels like
an
it's been
eternity.
forever, man. It felt like an eternity, man.
It felt like an eternity, not only for it to come back, but for us to come back.
Yeah,
And
man.
man, but you know what? If sports is back, we're back. And
We back, baby.
we're back
And
and we're live, man.
The end of the year, September to all the way to February, man, is like the best time if you're a real like sports fan, especially for us. When our main sports is football and basketball. So
Which
those
I
are the
think a lot of America feels the same way, man. Those are the
same
the
way.
major
Those are the two
sports
top
here.
sports.
Yeah.
So, you know, as long as that's going on, we're here. We're talking. You know, basically, we just gonna bring it all out. You know, we're gonna
Yeah.
cover some of the off season stuff before we get into the week one predictions and everything like that, just to cover our bases a little bit.
hmm
And then towards the end, we're gonna talk a little bit about basketball because that's just around the corner as well. But yeah,
Definitely. There was a lot done in the off season, man. And it's like
changes.
it's like, where do we begin, man? Because there were some major names that had moved around. And I really don't know truly where to begin with all that, man, because we've never, well, it's been a minute since we've seen movement like that, to be honest.
There was a lot of moves. A lot of people who are signed who were just at home, free
Yeah.
agents. You know, like notable, like Odell Beckham was one of them who wasn't on a team.
Yeah.
Who was at home. He was signed, you know, to the Ravens. Just like, you know, people who didn't think like would move. You know, there's some big ones.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets.
To
Like,
Jets. That was probably one of the biggest ones because nobody had a real idea what was going to happen, if he was going
Mhm.
to stay with Green Bay, if he was going to. I had a feeling he wasn't going to retire. I feel like he was not done yet.
Yeah.
But just trying to figure out where he was going to go. There was just so many talks, you know. Even one of the rumors was, oh, is he gonna go home? Is he gonna go back to California and play for San Francisco?
Mhm.
Is it gonna come full circle? Kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but it's I think he's got a good team, a good chance in New York.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because we know what kind of effort they put in last year, they took the league by storm.
They
I
did.
think
They just
defensively they had
yeah.
a very, very stellar defense. The one thing that people said was missing was the quarterback.
They had a
And
big hole at quarterback.
yeah,
I mean, it was probably the worst quarterback situation in the league. I mean, Zach, Zach Wilson, he was not very good. Mike White was the best option that they had. But now having Aaron Rodgers in the system, a veteran, MVP, Super Bowl champion,
mhm.
with that defense, they got some really good pieces now. You know, they cleaned up their wide receiver core a little bit to really have like a solid 1-2 guys. Two solid running backs, Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook. They signed Dalvin Cook. And Robert Saleh is at the helm again in his second or third year as head coach. And you
Yeah.
already know I have high praise for Robert Saleh. A few years ago he was our San Francisco's defensive coordinator. I mean, he really put in motion what the defense is now for San Francisco. And yeah, they're going to be a top contender in the East there.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be a big time contender. I think there's going to be a lot of expectations, and I think one of the things that people have stayed fearing with Aaron Rodgers is that he doesn't seem to be one who can live up to expectations. That's the thing. That's the debate right there. Is what's he gonna be like with expectations, and that is something that is gonna be interesting to see and follow, because I don't believe in him as a leader. But who knows? Maybe he needed a change of venue, and he needed people like the Jets, like Robert Saleh, to be around him and get his priorities right. Is it just me, or did my camera freeze up on me? Oh, is it working good for you?
No. It looked like you frozen on here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going
Down
on.
here.
Yeah, I don't know what's
good,
going on, man. But we're just
It's
gonna
the
work
rust,
with
it's
it.
the
We're just
rust.
gonna
It's just the
work
rust,
with it.
man.
I'm not even gonna. I mean, the only thing I could probably do is see if moving the scene real quick. Hold on. Nope, that didn't work. Oh well, I'll be frozen. I'd rather be able to talk to you and then I guess me being shown right now. It's all good. It's all good.
It's all right. I kind of like the stern look you give him.
Yeah, it's in the words of my niece's boombastic side eye. That's what that is. And that's how I feel towards Aaron Rodgers, which is, we bring up expectations and how he hasn't been the greatest in the locker room. I want to change this real quick to the Broncos, because they have a quarterback who hasn't been that good of a leader, has been letting down the fan base, has kind of soured two different areas. He's soured.
He's been a meme.
He's soured Seattle, and now he's soured Denver, but new coach. So even though last year was his new scenery, he got new scenery in terms of like people that would hold him accountable, not put up with the BS, and say, "Hey, man, we got to put up or shut up, man," because there was a lot given up to get you.
Yeah, for sure.
And that that's going to be an interesting thing to follow, man. I I do expect for the Broncos to be better than they were last year. Last
Yeah.
year, the running theme, if everybody can remember, was last year these dudes just couldn't finish the game. If they only scored just a field goal or one touchdown, they would be like having an amazing winning season or whatever because they were in every game or whatever. And
Yeah.
a lot of that credit goes to the defense because the offense was the thing that was holding them back. But I think with Sean Payton's mind for offense and being able to, you know, take accountability and things like that, that he's gonna be on top of things and we're gonna see something, I dare I say, kind of reminiscent to a couple of teams that we really enjoyed last year. Jets being one of them, Detroit Lions being another one. We're gonna see more effort, I think, and that's the thing you want to see from your team. Even if you lose, at least you say that you weren't just smacked around. You know what I mean? You weren't.
Yeah.
You did some smacking in the mouth too, and
Yeah.
but yeah, I see them being a lot more competitive, and I think they're gonna challenge the Chargers for second in the AFC West.
For sure. For sure. I think, given the accountability,
Mm-hmm.
um, for the whole team, everybody just has to be accountable, especially Russell Wilson. I feel like he's gonna take a step down on his ego, and how he was last. This man had his own office, his own parking spaces, yada yada yada, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna take a step down. Just be a team leader, connect with his guys, and just go out and play football. Um, they're gonna have definitely a better season, and definitely have a chance to take that AFC West.
Yeah.
If not take it, but I don't think they can take it, but they definitely come in second, and then have a good chance of making up playoffs.
Um. Uh. Staying on the subject of AFC real quick. I thought one of the notable moves is Cincinnati spending a little bit on a left tackle finally, because as we all
Which
know,
is
Joe Burrow's been one of the most hit,
most sacked.
not just sacked, but
Most hit. Yeah.
even just hit, because even hit,
Touched.
yeah, just being touched, because that's a number that we always follow when
Yep.
we recap games, is how many times did he get touched, not just sacked, touched. And he's not only the most sacked, but he's the most touched QB in the league. And you got to think that they would have stood a better chance in the Super Bowl and in the AFC Championship game had they had more protection for him. And I think Cincinnati
Absolutely.
is doing the right thing by investing in their O-line, by signing Orlando Brown Jr. I mean,
Yeah, it's a 4-year, $64 million deal. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. It was one of their early on. But yeah, it just by adding him or Orlando Brown Jr.
uh-huh.
with the amount of success the Bengals have had in recent years, this just elevates them just by one tackle,
Yeah.
because it gives time for Joe Shiesty to do his thing without having to worry about taking a hit all the time.
Mhm.
Honestly, it just makes them a step better. They definitely can now be contending for a Super Bowl every year. Like they already were, but this probably guarantees them if they all stay healthy, it guarantees them contending for a Super Bowl every year.
Yeah. Um, what about some of the other teams out there, man, that stood out to you? I mean, we we had a lot of dudes move. You know what? Let's take it somewhere kind of close to home, and by close to home, I mean close to home to you. Even though they're
Yeah.
closer, they're distance wise closer to me than they are to you.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's talk about your team, because your team, they kind of contributed to some of the major moves made around the NFL.
Yep.
You guys put your guys' toes deep into the ground and said, we're going all in, man, on Brock Purdy. Okay.
Going all in on Glock Purdy.
Because like dude was phenomenal. He wasn't very irrelevant last year. Even though he was Mr.
very
Irrelevant.
relevant. He was very relevant. A lot of people are naysayers just because they want to be naysayers. But say what you want. Brock Purdy is, from what we saw last year, okay?
Yeah.
The kid can play. The kid can play. Not only throwing the ball, but he can move outside the pocket, if he needs to get to like a first down. I saw a couple plays where he showed his athleticism.
Yeah.
Especially in the end zone, running in for touchdowns, stretching out, for first downs, stuff like that. He has that like smart mind, and that comes from him playing all 4 years of college, which a lot of draft rooms, GMs, they frown upon that because they think that something's wrong. He's not good. Probably not good enough if you play 4 years of college. But honestly, he got his experience.
Yeah, I mean that was my argument last year too. He went to a decent school, and he
played a lot of top colleges too. He played Oklahoma. He played a lot of top colleges. And him, just getting the opportunity to go out there and play, given the circumstances, is almost like a blessing in disguise. I mean, I think we found our quarterback. Now, he's young. You can develop him in the system to where he, this is his first. Also, this was his first full training camp. Last year, he didn't start in training camp. He started on practice squad because he was number 3. He was the third quarterback. So this is his first full season training camp under the offense of Shanahan, and you already saw what he can do last year. I'll leave it at that. With the weapons we have, everything like that, the defense he has behind him. Honestly, he has a high ceiling. No doubt.
Now, I want to add something, man, that because you said some naysayer stuff, that there are
naysayers, yes.
There's some naysayers. Here's my naysay, and it's not on Purdy. It's on Lynch and the Shanahans. My naysay is the fact that, like how I mentioned earlier when we shifted over to your team, that your team is responsible for some of the big time moves made in the NFL this offseason. Jimmy G going to the Raiders.
Even more.
And Trey Lance, who they moved heaven and earth to get, traded him for what, a 4th or 5th round pick to the Dallas Cowboys.
Fourth round pick to the Cowboys. Yeah.
So they gave up a lot to receive a young dude,
hmm
and they constantly were trying to, I don't know how to like really phrase it and word it, but like they constantly tried to replace Jimmy G, even though Jimmy G kept winning. You can say what you want about the
That's
guy.
true.
He took you
Jimmy
guys.
G can.
He pretty much was on a mission, especially last year before his injury, was to win that Super Bowl.
He was a completion away from winning that Super Bowl.
And he had you guys winning the entire time he was there.
hmm
Your guys' record with him is a winning record. And now you guys are putting all the chips in to Brock Purdy, which like I like Brock Purdy. I still do want to see some more because I don't want it to be like you're really catching guys off guard towards the end of the season. And
Yeah.
because like if you think about it, years ago, Denver Broncos had no choice but to throw in Tim Tebow after a few terrible games with their quarterback at that time, and then the fan base was like, we want Tebow, stuff like that,
Yeah.
and he leads them to have an 8-8 season. They barely got in. It was a very controversial them getting in because that was the same year that the Raiders went 8-8 and the Raiders went undefeated in the division, and so they just happened to win. I think their technicality was the record right at the very end of the season, and I
Yeah.
think that's how they got in. But they caught Pittsburgh by surprise. He won one playoff game. Now,
Yeah.
could the same kind of be said about Purdy? He caught a lot of people by surprise in some ways, like not knowing he had this in his bag and that in his bag, and then the unfortunate injury happening to him in the NFC Championship game. Because like I mean, even though it was unfortunate, I kind of don't feel like you guys had enough to truly compete in that game with the Eagles. I think the Eagles were just so overpowering with how much talent they had.
Yeah.
That it might have been very hard.
Definitely was overpowering.
Yeah.
It also it happened so early. It was like this second outing in the game. I feel like they could have competed, but they wouldn't. They didn't. We're gonna win that game.
Yeah.
But what you were saying by Brock Purdy stepping in and taking everybody by surprise, obviously that's gonna happen
Yeah.
for like somebody who comes in right away. A lot of players don't know a lot about him. Nobody expected him to play.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Jimmy G to go down.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of film on him at the time. There wasn't a lot of film. Wasn't a lot of like what to look for and tendencies and stuff like that. So definitely a lot of his success. Most of the success can come from that. Just being able to kind of go under the radar of people and just play. But you had to have talent to back that, put the two together, and succeed. Obviously he's definitely in a good situation with the talent around him, CMC, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. I mean, the talent and the defense behind him to, give him that cushion. It's just all the pieces together just added up for a good success, but definitely it came down. Everybody thought that it would had come to an end at that NFC championship game, which it really did. But you know, I mean, he got injured. You know, there's not much he can do. You know, don't you know? He's not gonna play through it because you don't want to risk anything else. We kind of just had to take it on chin. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
They overpowered us. That was their game plan. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Brock is he's recovered fully. I mean, the recovery time was supposed to be longer, but everything healed. Surgery was nice. Everything healed tremendously.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's definitely going to be, for me, I have confidence in him, but you want to see that full season. You want to see that full season at number one QB. And I have confidence that he's going to continue what, he's been doing.
Yeah.
The confidence that his guys have behind him, the coaches have in him, just all that stuff is going to transfer onto the field. Is he going to have some hiccups? Probably, but that, happens for a lot of quarterbacks. It's his second season, it's his second year. I just, I see nothing but positives, and this is kind of what they wanted to do, Trey Lance.
Yep.
They wanted Trey Lance to be that guy, because obviously I don't think Jimmy was going to stay forever. They went and got Trey Lance to basically mold into QB1, but it just didn't really go anywhere. There wasn't much to see. They tried with him last season as QB1. I mean, he goes down in week 2. Week 1 was not a very good game against Chicago. It was basically a flood bowl. It was raining crazy. Field was flooded. It's a tough game,
Yeah.
Tough playing conditions. Week 1, what are you going to do?
Definitely.
They're like, okay, let's put that behind us. We're back at home week 2. But then he goes down, breaks his ankle. It's just really unfortunate. They really didn't get to see Trey Lance in a full season. He hasn't really played a full season. And do I think it was a little quick to get rid of him? Yeah. But that's the decision they made. Seeing as what they did, they pretty much just took it on the chin. Like we messed up with this draft. Then they did. They gave up so many picks to Miami.
Well, so
straight up to get him.
So like my naysaying goes to the fact that you could have used those picks. You remember, because I had this conversation with you in private many times, where you could have used those picks to get other pieces to kind of solidify you getting a Super Bowl ring or two. Because Jimmy G was enough. I don't understand why Jimmy G wasn't. I don't know if they were that concerned about his health. Well, I mean, if they're that concerned about his health, why not make sure that you have the greatest O-line that people have ever seen? Yeah, you guys have some really good O-linemen, especially in Trent Williams, who, in my opinion, until he shows otherwise, he's the best left tackle in the NFL. But if you were to really make sure that maybe both sides, left and right, are
secure,
completely secure, then as long as Jimmy G has a clean jersey, then you have absolutely nothing to worry about with him getting injured.
Yeah.
You just tell him, hey man, in your own personal life, just make sure you don't hurt yourself. Don't play no basketball. Don't do nothing. Nothing that we don't get to see for ourselves. Okay, You know, like the only time we want to see you running is when you're in the training facility, on a treadmill or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so that's why I'm saying like Shanahan and Lynch, they are the ones that I'm feeling negative towards. They're the ones that if you don't deliver me, I'm gonna be straight up honest. If you don't deliver it to me this year, you guys might be on the hot seat. And if not this year,
for sure.
next year.
For sure.
Because
I say for sure, like it's either got to be this year or next year. If it's not within these 2 years, we don't get a Super Bowl within these 2 years. Definitely hot seat, bro.
And here's
sure.
here's what backs up my statement too. Because Trent Williams is not a young spry guy, and like I said, until he shows me this season, he's the best left tackle in the NFL. But I've seen guys where the father time hit them as soon as the season started or somewhere at some point at the season, and they take a turn for the worse. And
yep.
I totally feel like this is a possibility where you don't have the window. You might have the window for other players, but you don't have the window as far as the things that's absolutely necessary to win a Super Bowl, which is making sure that you have a good O-line.
For sure.
So before we get out of the conversation of your team, Bosa signing the biggest deal that any pass rusher has signed. You know, I talked to you when we were playing video games one day. I said, bro, how do you feel about it, man? Because like you're putting in a lot of eggs in the basket, especially one that's kind of dealt with some injuries, and it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, do you feel that way? Do you feel the same way that I'm feeling as someone from the outside looking in?
Slightly, yeah.
You know, and then because then that adds more to the whole Lynch Shanahan situation where, shoot, you don't even have some dudes that could maybe replace the guy. You know what I mean? Just yeah.
I mean, I feel like that a little bit, you know, in the situation, we're damned if we do, we damned if we don't. You know, if we don't, his rookie contract expires and he goes for, becomes, he could go somewhere else where they're going to pay him.
Yeah.
If we do, which we did, sign him to a 5-year, $170 million extension, making him the highest paid, I believe the highest paid defensive player in the league.
Yeah.
Not just pass rusher, defensive player in the league. I mean, he has he does deserve to get paid. Not gonna lie, he does deserve to get paid. He was the defensive player of the year. I mean, his stats show that he is one of the top pass rushers in the game. I mean, yeah, he has little injuries, whether it's a growing or, it's a leg, knee, it's not real major injuries that he's out for whole seasons. He may miss a couple of games, but for the most part, he tends to stay healthy like 90 to 80% or 90, 95% of the season. And he but that's going to happen. He plays at 150%, every down, he's running full speed at these guys, that's going to happen.
I think what makes his life a little bit easier is also Javon Hargrave.
That's what I was just about. The defensive line is stacked, man. I'm not gonna lie. Hargrave, Eric Armstead in the middle, Bosa, like it definitely takes a lot of pressure off of Bosa having to try to, every time get there. Obviously, he's going to try to get there every time, but to have those other two guys next to him drawing attention, he don't have to work as hard. There have been times where he had to work to double teams, even triple teams. Those two guys are going to relieve a little bit, so he won't have to work as hard, which therefore could, bring down the injury risk. But in this kind of standoff between, the execs and Bosa held the cards. He held the cards 100%. So they basically, at a point, both sides weren't budging
Yeah.
at the deal, but they ended up finally getting it done. I love Bosa. I wouldn't want to see him go this early in his career somewhere else. I feel like he played for the 49ers for quite a while. I mean, he could retire. He could play his whole career in San Francisco. I mean, a little bit I was torn just because it's a lot of money. But looking at a lot of the deal and everything that's included, we won't have to lose a lot of pieces. Like with this deal, we can still have, like, it won't affect losing Brandon Ayuk, who's our, last year was our leading in receiving yards. So it was first 1,000-yard season, which I think he can do that again, if not more. We won't take a hit on Deebo because Deebo is under contract for a few years with Kittle and CMC. We won't lose our core for like the next few years. It won't affect them.
Yeah.
And especially on the defensive side as well, other players. But there will come a time where this contract is going to take into effect to other players. And we will lose some players, but not a whole lot. But that, players come and go. It's a draft for develop players, stuff like that. But that's how I feel on it, stuff like that. I was just doing a lot more research on the deal and everything and how it is really going to affect us, and it's not going to be too harsh, but it definitely is a lot of money, and I mean, he's deserved it.
Yeah. Just so everybody's aware, just in case people are tuning in just now, I want you guys to know that this is me doing a side eye for a long time. I have not moved from the side eye, and I'm a ventriloquist. I can speak without moving my lips and keeping a very blurry side eye at that. It has nothing to do with the fact that OBS decided not to continue capturing my camera for whatever reason, but it's okay. I wanted you guys to know that the Ken Dog, even though again, if you're just tuning in now, he has no beard. So your eyes do not deceive you. It's still the 2-4 podcast, and as long as you can see Ken moving, that's all that matters to me. What was I gonna say? So let's talk about some more of the moves real quick, and try to get through some of them as quickly as possible and as entertaining as possible. Jimmy G, as we were discussing about your 49ers, he is now a member of the Silver and Black, the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
I don't know if this changes life for the Raiders, at least not yet. as you guys, if you guys can remember this, and unless you guys are new to the podcast, I can't stand Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders. And so I root only for the players. I do not root for the organization. I know that probably sounds real fake of me, but I think that there
This
are
fool ain't fake, man. This fool been a Raider fan for a long time, and you know sometimes things break the camel's back, and
Yeah.
it was definitely that last season for him. And trust
Yeah.
me when I tell you, this man was brought to tears on how dirty he was been done by his organization and his team, man. Like,
yeah, it was one bad thing
it's
after
bad.
another. The disrespect that they also did towards the fans towards the end of the season with kicking
Yeah,
guys
man,
out
it's
for
just-
even questioning things.
Yeah, man.
But like, but I can be, you know, objective, and I can say things without sounding like I'm spiteful or anything like that. This is my true honest opinion. I do believe that Jimmy G is a pretty good quarterback. I wouldn't say that this dude is elite or anything like that. I think his arm talent is really, really good. Probably slightly better than Derek Carr. Maybe not. Maybe it's the same. Maybe his decision making is a little quicker. One of the two. But Derek Carr is the more mobile quarterback of the two.
Yeah.
So Derek has that going for him, whereas Jimmy, as we know, is very much stay in the pocket kind of thing, which is what probably fits
McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, you know, scheme and all that. That it probably fits that better. I do like what some of the moves that they made in the offseason is in terms of the draft. I like the tight end that they got. I still have question marks about the defense. Still have question marks on what exactly are they going to be doing on offense, because there's a lot of like hot mess going on still. You know, there
Yeah.
You had Josh Jacobs along with a lot of other running backs holding out and missing a lot of time that could have been used at camp with his guys to, you know, have more cohesion. Devontae Adams, I'm sure, only has so much patience. He's a very competitive guy. He grew up a Raiders fan, and I don't think he envisioned this kind of stuff because he came to the Raiders to play with his best friend, Derek Carr, who got done dirty and
Yeah.
is no longer a Raider. He's now a Saint. And that wasn't part of his agreement, you know?
Yeah.
So with all that being said, man, they are a team that I don't think I will keep the closest eye on. I will keep an eye on just to see how things are panning out, who's staying, who's not. Hunter Renfro is another name that I have question marks about. I feel like he's probably going to be the next one to be moved. And
How
I
do
don't
you
know.
feel about them signing Jacoby Myers?
I mean, I'm not hating on it that much or anything, but it's just, it feels like they only want to they want to give up bigger talent for lesser talent that they're familiar with. And like somehow that's going to give them success because they've had success in New England.
Yeah.
And that's where the head coach and the general manager both have where they came from. That's where their last stop was. And so the Bill Belichick tree is not a very successful one, and they all kind
Yeah,
of
for
do the
sure.
same thing where they try to emulate as much as possible what they saw Bill Belichick do. And they're not Bill Belichick, and even Bill Belichick himself has not been doing that great of a job these last few years
You know,
without Tom Brady.
it's definitely it's definitely weird to see like the Patriots and not be good. Like
Yeah.
it's like super like off-putting. Like you see the Patriots, you're like damn, man, just a few years ago, man, they were like 5 years ago, they were on top of the NFL, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's
For
like
most
it's like
for
dang,
most
man.
young people, they've only ever known um the Patriots to be a winning organization. You know, it's like that
Dynasty,
for
man.
yeah, it's like that for a lot of teams that had stayed winning for a long time. Like the younger generation have only known that. Same thing if
They
they're
don't
a
know the
losing
struggle.
organization. If they're a losing organization, then
That's
that
all they're
young
known for.
fan base, that's all they know them for. They never seen them good, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like I remember when the Patriots were in their heyday, and older Patriot fans were like, "You don't know what I know, and what I experienced. They were bad when I was,
Yeah.
you know that kind of thing." So
For
you know,
sure.
that seems to always be like the case, you know, that
Yeah.
you know, but you know the Raiders had guys move too. So you know, I mentioned Derek Carr. Just they just released the dude. They
Th-
got
They they didn't just release Derek Carr, man. They did it like the most dirtiest way. They were like, just stop coming to practice. Stop coming to the facility. Just stay home, bro. That's
yeah
what they told him, bro. They said, just stay home. We'll contact you
yeah,
if we
and
if something comes up.
they no longer have Darren Waller. He's now a New York
Darren
Giant.
Waller, which they did dirty too.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just yeah,
Hey,
they
at least Darren Waller and his wifey
don't have
were
to deal with
able
them.
that, but like at least they were able to like, you know, kind of like laugh it off.
Yeah.
They captioned that they should have invited them to the wedding.
Yeah.
So,
Which they stated was gonna be a private thing, you know, like
it must be weird for his wife though, because she plays in the WNBA, and if I'm not mistaken, she plays for Vegas.
place for the Aces, yeah.
Yeah, so it must be kind of weird, you know, to have them show up
Yeah.
sometimes and have Mark Davis
Maybe.
there, because Mark Davis is the owner of the team.
Yeah.
And so it must be weird sometimes, you know, like, hey man, you shipped my husband out, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know, don't show up to the game, man. Anyways,
I mean, honestly, in all honesty, it's the best for Darren Waller, honestly. I mean,
you know, it's yeah,
he
yeah.
did a good situation in New York, man.
Look, the Giants last year was another surprise team. Both New York teams surprised a lot
Their
of people.
their defense is on the up and coming. Danny Dimes, man, he ain't an elite quarterback, but he goes out there and gets the job done. You got a healthy Saquon Barkley.
Dude, you know, the number one thing for athletes that they need more than anything is confidence in them. That you have to give them that confidence. I think if the Giants fans and people in the organization really get behind Danny Dimes, then they're gonna get good things, because dude, the thing that nobody talks about with that fool is how mobile he is, bro.
He got wheels, man.
Dude,
he got wheels.
Dude, the guy is faster than what you expect. You look at him and remember, like when he got drafted, a lot of people were like, this dude, he looks like he's built just like Eli. right? They're
Yeah.
like, he looks almost exactly like he could be brothers with him. He got a dumb look to his face too. But the dude is quick as F, bro. Like this dude
Yeah.
is fast, and he can put the jukes on people from time to time. And I don't think
Hell
people
yeah.
realize that.
No.
I think that I think when they think about certain dudes being mobile, he's not like at the top of the list. I feel like if they're like, yo, a white quarterback who can run, Josh Allen, but they don't think
He's like
him.
a step down by like Josh Allen. He's like a
But
step down.
Josh Allen has more strength behind his running game.
Yeah, true.
And Daniel Jones got the quickness.
He's shifty. Like
Yeah.
he's shifty. Like he's not gonna put his head down and try to hit stick somebody like Josh Allen does.
Yeah, Josh
You know,
Allen.
he's
Josh
gotta-
Allen
he's
will put it
gotta-
in your chest, bro.
Oh, yeah. He finds other ways to just get by, you know, which honestly, that's what you want in your quarterback. You don't want your
Yeah.
quarterback trying to go out there and take a linebacker out, you know. You want him to be shifty and try to avoid, you know, contact.
And
Which I think Daniel Jones does a very nice, you know, very nice job at doing.
and another guy that moved, I mentioned his name, Derek Carr. He goes to the New Orleans Saints, and
DC, man.
I think that is a great move for the Saints.
Great move. Keep going. You know
I-
more about the situation.
Because he's getting reunited with
With old coach.
with his old coach, Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen.
And there's some weapons there, and on top of that, bro, like,
And not only like the weapons, the Saints are a good organization.
that's what I was gonna say. It's a very good organization. It's a very professional,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
they're not only that, but they're also very involved in their community, which is something that is huge for Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, yep. Absolutely.
Derek Carr, with him being a man of faith, he is very much in giving back to his community and getting involved. And now he's with an organization that feels the same way as he does. And like the way that area really supports that team, because I know like the day that it really happened, where it became the biggest like love for one another, was when I was a teenager. When I was in high school, they had Hurricane Katrina, and the way their stadium became home to everybody that was devastated by that flooding from the hurricane, that love that was there, that the Saints showed to that community. The community gave back and hasn't stopped giving back to this organization. And
one of the most like powerful fan bases like in the NFL, honestly. Like they are like true to their team, man, and they show out every time, bro. Just like how like you know, it's like I think definitely before this last season how Raider fans were, you know, through thick and thin, like they were definitely there, you know, all the time, especially when they were in Oakland, man. Like just the dedication that they have, but I think it's just a little bit more like a bigger connection that the team and the city of New Orleans has. And like you said, it's definitely a blessing for Derek Carr. You know, be reunited with the old coach, has a stable organization, you know, through his time with the Raiders. He's had so many different coaches, so many different GMs, so many different coaching staffs,
a lot of
ups and downs, and look what he has done with the Raiders. You know, all the passing yards and stuff like this. The success when you guys had success, the success that he's brought to the team with all that inconsistency, you know, had he just had a few years with the same coaching staff, the same coach, the same GM, the same players to really develop
Mm-hmm.
the team, I mean, it could have been different most years. But him now just getting a fresh start, he's got a really good team behind him in the Saints. He's got good weapons. You know, he's going to be playing with Jamal Williams, who's one of my favorite players. Just, his love for the game and his love for his teammates. Jamal Williams is just an overall great person and a great player. He's got a whole city behind him, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see nothing but success for Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints team. I said it a little while ago. I told you, I mean, the Saints team could really put people on notice.
Yeah.
Again,
And the NFC is going to be a very tough conference.
Throughout
Yeah.
all divisions, NFC
Yeah.
is going to be tight, bro. It's going to be real tight.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it's going to be coming down to like a win or loss situation to get in.
I even though I believe that the NFC as a whole has improved a lot, I still say, as far as the Saints are concerned, they're still the better team in that division, and I think it's a decent sized gap. I could be wrong because there's always a surprise team. But like I just feel like, if there was one division to kind of count out and only have one good team coming out of there, I would feel like it's the NFC South.
Yeah, for sure.
But talking about divisions and things like that, man, and some moves, I want to kind of talk about some coaching moves that can help improve teams, and I want to stay on the subject of the NFC, in particular NFC East, because I think a move that nobody talks about is someone who I've advocated for a lot, and I was hoping that the Raiders would have signed, and that's Eric Bieniemy.
Yep.
He's now the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders, and for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with the name, he was the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Andy Reid swears on everything that he is the main play caller for the Chiefs. And I believe that I only somewhat believe him. I believe that for the most part, when things are going good, it's him. But I feel like when it becomes more crunch time and things like that, and they got to put the final nail in the coffin and things of that sort, I think Andy Reid takes over, because we've kind of seen footage of different times where Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are having a conversation, and Eric Bieniemy's like right next to them, and he doesn't look like he's involved in the conversation. Like he's just like listening.
He's just there.
But I don't think that's gonna happen in Washington. And Washington has surprised people as well. They were the other surprise team. That division was a very tough division. And now the Eagles and the Cowboys are going to have a hard time getting more dubs within the division because of this move. And I think that the kind of play calling that Eric Bieniemy can come up with is going to be the kind that really catches those guys by surprise at inopportune times. And you really don't want to have inopportune times if you're the Cowboys, who are known to, poop to bed with inopportune times. Like they tend to do that at the wrong time, man. When you want them to like seal the deal, they can't seem to do it, man. And I don't know. Do you agree with me on that one?
I agree 100%, man. That I believe Eric Bieniemy is going to bring a shiftiness to Washington. You know, he's
Yeah.
gonna, he's got young. They got young talent there, and I mean, again, probably nobody's expect them to really do anything significant,
Yeah.
but they have a chance to turn it up. They can, they don't have an elite quarterback. Honestly, they have a quarterback I've never really heard of. So, I mean, who knows? They're gonna see this guy, I think, for the first time, honestly.
Yeah.
So they got, honestly, they're they got good players. Uh, the running back game is good. They got some good receivers, McLaren, Dotson.
Some good pass rushing too.
Good pass rushing too. The defense is solid. So they're just another team to look out that can surprise you. Just another team that's good to watch.
So I'm excited to talk about this team right here. And it is going to be how I just feel it, man. We're gonna get the same feeling that we got from the Lions last year from the Houston Texans. And it's because of two hires, D'Amico Ryans and Frank Reich.
Yep.
Bro. Okay. I'll let you explain D'Amico, but let me explain Frank, okay? Because like, dude, the Texans, they kept showing a ton of effort. They kept showing like
absolutely.
what they need is a little bit more time under their belt. They need to accumulate more talent. And they did that, man, because like, Cleveland gave up a lot to get Deshaun Watson. And I think they made other trades with other teams. So they had stockpiles of draft picks, man.
They had 2 top 5 picks, Houston.
Yeah.
2 top 5 picks, and one of them, they got Stroud.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud, so.
So Frank Reich, this dude is a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah.
The best season for a lot of quarterbacks that have had down seasons and then went to have MVP-like seasons was because that MVP-like season was with Frank Reich whispering in their ears, saying the right thing,
Sweet nothings.
Sweet nothings in them ears, bro. And they got some people on that team, and I know that they lost Cooks, but it's okay, man. They got other guys there.
No,
they got other guys, man. They got some running backs. Yeah. They got some wide receivers.
I'm still high on Dameon Pierce, man. Dameon Pierce is solid, like running back wise. Like
he's gonna make some names out of people, bro.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And like, then flipping.
And
you go ahead.
And CJ is only gonna benefit, dude. Like, CJ. For those of you who don't know, CJ Stroud, he's a quarterback, and I just brought up Frank Reich being a quarterback whisperer. Can you imagine this dude being able to mold a guy?
Mm-hmm. Like we don't see that a lot anymore. You don't see like, a rookie quarterback coming out and he has the possibility to be successful in his first season.
Yeah, because like Frank Reich,
he does.
Frank Reich hasn't had too many opportunities to be with a quarterback from the very beginning. He's been with some young quarterbacks to help them, but like to get them from the very freaking beginning,
Yeah.
And that is gonna be huge, dog. Like that.
Mm.
CJ's in great hands, bro. And I'm
Yeah.
loving the things that I'm seeing out of the Texans. They are determined be to become a very, very good team in the AFC and no longer be in the shadow of the Cowboys. You know, because they're kind of like the Clippers to the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Yeah.
I'm excited, and I feel pretty confident in saying that they're going to be the darlings of the NFL again. And
Yeah.
and if I'm the Lions, I'm a little bit upset with that because we were supposed to continue being the darlings of the NFL. But you know
Yeah.
what? They could be the darlings of their division.
That division's wide open.
Yeah. Now you tell the people at home who D'Amico Ryans is, who your team lost.
D'Amico Ryans, man. D'Amico Ryans is a dog. That man's a dog.
Yep.
Okay. I have a lot of respect for D'Amico. I mean, he is a great defensive mind, man. Last year he was with the 49ers, and you already know by watching how dominant this defensive team was, man, in the 49ers. Okay. That's what D'Amico put together. He helped, you know, put these guys together, putting in the schemes, all this stuff. His mind going to Houston is just gonna be is gonna be great for that team, and you know, and for him to get some pieces for that defense. I believe he got some that I can't see the names yet, but they got Will Anderson in the draft, Will Anderson Jr. at the number 3
Mhm.
pick. I mean, man,
You know
D'Amico
what?
can just do wonders with this scheming and like his play calling and stuff like that. It's just, man, he's just a dog, man.
You know what? I had the biggest brain fart. So I'm going off of the top of the dome and not looking at like notes and stuff.
Okay.
Frank Reich is with the Panthers. He's their head coach. I could have sworn the Texans had him.
I thought so too. You're very convincing. That's what I thought. I thought I saw
Oh,
that.
hey, but you know what, man? It's okay because what I had to say about Frank Reich being the quarterback whisperer is absolutely true. Because let me go back to hyping him back up.
Oh, yeah, you did brain fart.
Let me go back to hyping him back up, okay? Because Frank Reich with the Colts, okay, had to continue to MacGyver with a new quarterback like every season because he had Andrew Luck the last year he played, and then he had to have Carson Wentz. I think he had someone else in between that, but he kept putting this team to win and have a chance into playoffs and stuff. So he's doing all these things with abrupt changes to the one position that you don't want these changes. So the Panthers which is a team that we were hyped on last year. We were talking about how amazing their defense is and
Yeah.
how well amazing their young defensive players are. Like their
Yeah.
the prospect of them becoming household names. You know, there were guys that they didn't like. They had some fire sale on the offensive end, but they were like, we're not touching the defensive end at all. They were
No.
okay with letting McCaffrey go, but they weren't okay with letting any of their defensive pieces go. Any of
Mhm.
them. So even
Would-
if Frank Reich is starting all over with some new weapons on offense, that don't matter.
I mean-
I believe in the dude. I'm a big fan of his.
Well, basically, even though you got the wrong team, he's got Bryce Young.
Yeah.
The Panthers took Bryce Young and another, rookie quarterback. Like you say, he's quarterback whisperer, so he can do stuff with Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
They also got Miles Sanders, who's a running back for Philadelphia. Miles Sanders had a really good season at Philly. They got Adam Thielen
Yeah.
as a receiver. Adam Thielen, solid receiver. He's getting up there in age, but he can still play.
Yeah. So he still
They got a-
has
They also got a really young wide receiver in Jonathan Mingo, a rookie wide receiver, Jonathan
Yeah.
Mingo, who can be a really good develop into a really good player. They got the pieces, man.
he has pieces, man. Adam Thielen, we know what he can do. We seen him pull off some amazing plays for the Vikings when he was there.
Yeah.
And you brought up Jonathan Mingo, and then Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
He's a great weapon. Their O-line is pretty good. But hey, he got an upgrade over what I said because Stroud was picked. You said 4th, right? Bryce Young was the number one overall.
Number 1 overall pick, yeah.
So, and then on top of that, if anything happens, God forbid, knock on wood and stuff. If anything were to happen, Andy Dalton is his backup, and Andy Dalton having the quarterback whisperer in his ear could bring out the best of Andy Dalton.
Yeah, could revive his career a little bit.
Just a little bit, not
just a little bit.
I'm not saying that this dude is gonna be like stellar, but like we saw what Geno Smith did. You don't think Andy Dalton could probably do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to like wrap up what we were talking about with involving like the 49ers, Houston, and Carolina, how it went was DeMeco Ryans went to Houston. Frank Reich went to Charlotte, the Panthers, which then came full circle, and Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator of that really good, up and coming defense in Charlotte, is now the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers.
Crazy how it all
circle.
comes full circle and stuff.
Yeah. So the San Francisco started it off and then ended it with getting Steve Wilks, which I'm very high on Steve Wilks too. He as in DeMeco Ryans was a linebacker, was like very high. DeMeco's was a linebacker. Steve Wilks is very high on defensive backs and corners and safeties.
Mhm.
So not only does he has a good defensive line all around, but his specialty is coverage. And so we have a pretty decent coverage, and definitely in a safety, Talanoa Hufanga,
Yeah.
who's going to probably rise as one of the top safeties in the league this year. Clip it. I'm saying it right now. He's going to be one of the top safeties in the league this year. And he showed it last season too.
And you know what? Like you said, his specialties is in the backfield. So the team that you really need to put a stop to with their receiving core is the Eagles.
For sure. Yeah.
So, you know, that's probably your biggest,
That's gonna
deadliest
be-
threat right there.
Yeah. That game is marked on my calendar, dog.
Yeah.
Not only is it a revenge game for the Niners, but it's a revenge game for Jonathan Hargrave to go against his former team.
hmm
So that's if you were a football fan, if you're a Niner fan, whatever fan, if you want to see a dog fight, just a revenge game, like mark it on your calendar, Niners and Eagles this season.
Yeah, I mean, Niners and Eagles is like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fighting, bro.
It's like, man, it's gonna
two
be
heavyweights fighting for the title, bro. It's you.
I
So
can
far,
guarantee you. I
in
can
my
guarantee
opinion, you guys are the
like,
favorite. In my opinion, you two guys are the favorites.
The
I
chip,
don't-
the chip,
I-
man, the chip
I-
on the shoulder is all we need.
We're not one of those teams that be over here saying Cowboys every freaking year or anything like that. You know, like
Yeah,
there's
no,
a
we're
lot
not
of places
fans
that say that. No.
Yeah, we ain't the
Like,
Cowboys.
I like some of the weapons that the Cowboys got, but they ain't got what y'all two teams got. You guys got it on both ends.
hmm
One last thing that we got to talk about, NFL related, okay, is who I believe is the best team in the league until otherwise, and it's only because I believe they have the best quarterback, because a certain somebody retired, so he's for sure the best quarterback in the league.
For sure, the best quarterback in the league.
He's the only one that he's the only other one that gets this sound bit. And that is Patrick, my homeboy
The homeboys, yes.
of the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole thing because this is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Jeez.
So I want to talk about them real quick, man, because you know your guy got paid, Bosa,
hmm
and he got paid the most. There's a guy who's looking for a payday,
Chris Jones.
who is the best defensive player on their side of the football. Okay.
Yeah.
And this dude got to get more than Bosa, because this dude got rings and tings.
He got rings to prove it.
Rings and tings, man. Rings and tings.
For sure.
Yeah, so one guy got rings, one guy don't. One guy, yeah, he gets sacks, but one guy gets it definitely when you need it. Because as you know, I called it. I
Mhm.
called it last year.
Chris Jones made that play. They won
Yeah.
that won that Super Bowl.
I spoke it into existence. I think they're the best team to compete with for and the favorites to win the championship, man. I think that they are king of the hill until someone knocks them off.
Knocks him off, exactly. Yeah.
And by knocking off, as we've discussed last year, it means you don't just go to the game, the big game. You win it too.
Yeah.
So the Bengals might have beat them that one time to go to the Super Bowl.
But you gotta win it.
But them jabronis didn't finish it, in the words of
They ain't
Travis
gonna
Kelsey.
say.
Those jabronis.
Yeah.
So I want to make a prediction on who they're going to be facing and who will wind up being the winner.
You're making Super Bowl predictions?
Right now.
Okay.
It will only change if a major injury happens. If no major injury happens, I will not change. Okay? It's going to be the Chiefs. And it's going to be the Niners. That's how much faith I have in your team right now. Only because
Absolutely.
I feel like some butts are sitting on some very mightily hot type seats. So they got to like make it happen because it's a very small
Mhm.
window. Very small
Exactly.
window with
I
Trent
agree.
Williams. Very small window with all the moves that were made, getting rid of a dude that they moved heaven and earth for, getting rid of a dude who gave him a winning record his entire time that was there. Y'all gotta like put up or shut up. But now
Absolutely.
here comes the thing. It's the results. Until someone is not shooketh. And the half of the fourth quarter, at the halfway point of the fourth quarter, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
If
I don't-
someone is not Sam Darnold, given we have Sam Darnold as our backup,
Yeah, you yeah, you got Sam Darnold as your backup. And then ain't that fitting? Because it was your team that gave me the name.
it was Steve Montana,
Steve Montana.
aka what was his name?
I don't
Nick
remember.
Mullins.
Nick Mullins, that's what it is. Nick Mullins. The goated one, the other goated one. He was the love child of Steve Young and Joe Montana, aka Steve Montana. He had Sam Darnold so shook. They had the biggest lead, and this guy just kept coming and coming and coming. That is where Patrick Mahomes got it. He saw that game, and he was like, "I want to be just like that."
Yep, and that's where Patrick Mahomes was born. And if you don't know what we're talking about when we say the term Sam Darnold, is if you had seen the look on Sam Darnold's face during that game, he was so shook, we were like, damn, that fool's Sam Darnold right now. He got Sam Darnold, as in he got so shook that he just was frozen.
Yeah.
He was frozen. He was just sitting on the sideline like this.
He's like, I just got beat by some kid that nobody knows.
That nobody knows.
Everybody knew who I was. I was the second overall pick or whatever.
Exactly. But if this Niners team goes to the Super Bowl and they win it, and if it's against the Chiefs, then we got to switch the term of Sam Darnold. Not as
Sam Darnold gonna play in the game to help change it.
No, maybe.
Because let me tell you something. Look, even if you don't play, Sam Darnold is still gonna make a face like, "Holy shit, we won."
Yeah. So
Like
then
that
he
kind of
switches the term of.
It's Sam Darnold means something else, but it's still the same word.
It's still the same word. It's still the same term.
Phrase. Yeah.
Phrase.
Yeah.
Like
it's just like everything else in
Darnold
English
right now.
It's like everything else in the English language, man. There's words that have double, triple meanings. Like a dish. The dish means an actual dish, and also what you made.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they even used to call girls that looked good a dish. So you know what I mean. So maybe Sam Darnold has that happen to him too.
Yeah.
You know, but
we'll see.
But hey, you know, if he doesn't play and Patrick Mahomes, Sam Darnold's this team, and Sam Darnold is on the bench, it'll still be another phrase like where it's like an out of body experience, seeing what happened to you years ago happened to someone else.
Yeah.
You know, the disbelief, like This is exactly what happened to me, bro.
Exactly.
And you can't ask me for help because I didn't know how to stop
And you
it
know
then, and I
what?
don't know how to do it
You
now.
know what? And if it happens, it'll be by the hands of the new kid on the block,
Mhm.
Glock Purdy.
Yeah.
Just like it happened to Sam Darnold.
Mhm. So what's your prediction for who's gonna be there and who's gonna win it?
Prediction for sure the Chiefs, because I don't think anybody can knock them off. If they get rolling in that second half of the season, nobody can knock them off. It's gonna be, like you said, the NFC is gonna be tough. But I have, if injury, no injuries, I have faith in my guys to kick and fight their way to a Super Bowl.
So that's fandom aside. That's fandom
Fandom
aside.
aside, just how many times have they been so close? Even if it's just a championship, like even getting to the championship, you're just a win away to get in there. Just and them being there and only a completion away of winning that Super Bowl.
Mhm.
There's some guys on the team, as in George Kittle, Bosa, guys who went there, Williams went there. They got that chip. They're like, I'm pretty sure they're thinking about people being on some hot seats too.
Yeah.
That they want this. They're hungry for this. Like they thinking it's do or die now.
Okay.
So be a fandom aside, these are the two top teams in the league. Chiefs and Niners. All you naysayers say about Brock Purdy, but if he gets protection, everybody stays healthy, this team is gonna be scary.
Mhm.
Now with who wins it, it's a toss-up, man. Because it's kind of hard to beat the Chiefs in that game. It's so hard to beat the Chiefs because they bring it in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Some reason they elevate to a higher level when it comes to the Super Bowl. There's only one guy to beat the Chiefs. It was Jared Goff. But you know what? The
Yeah.
Rams bought that Super Bowl. They bought that Super Bowl for sure.
So with what you just said though, the biggest threat to Mahomes still and always will be Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions now.
And you know what?
The
That's
Mufasas.
the game. That's the game we set off week 1 with.
And what will he be saying, Jared Goff, when he shows up to play the Chiefs? You know what he's going to be saying to Mahomes?
The king has returned.
The king is returned. Yeah. Not a lot of you know that, man. Jared Goff won a Super Bowl with the Rams and beat the Chiefs.
Yeah. His biggest L probably
The
of his
biggest
career.
L for Patrick Mahomes is Jared Goff.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not a big L to take a L to Tom Brady. It's a bigger L taking it to Jared Goff, who everybody said was a bust.
Yep.
Because you lose to the GOAT. I mean, it is what it is. You think anybody calling out Charles Barkley and Karl Malone and John Stockton and Gary Payne and Sean Kemp and them for
Hold
losing
on.
to MJ?
I'm mistaken right now. I'm mistaken.
What?
I gotta correct myself. I'm mistaking myself right now because It wasn't. It wasn't Jared Goff. It was Matthew Stafford, bro.
Oh, that's right. He went to the Super Bowl and lost. No,
Yeah,
wait. Did the Rams go
I am
twice to the Super
mistaken.
Bowl?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
I'm mistaken. My fault, y'all.
That's okay. We both messed up, and our stream is messed up because of my cam
Your infinite side eye.
and my infinite side eye.
Matthew Stafford was the quarterback to beat
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
And he should be ashamed because, like, the injury gods helped him out too by hurting Odell. It was just Cooper Kupp out there.
Cooper Kupp, and now Cooper Kupp's struggling because he's ruled out week 1. Struggling with injuries.
Yeah.
The whole team is struggling. The Rams.
I don't think they're going
They
to be
bought
good
their.
this year.
They're not. They're not.
No.
They bought their Super Bowl, and they are been downhill from there.
Aaron Donald should have left.
Yeah, he should have gone
Into the sunset.
into
That's what
the
he should
sunset.
do.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have came back.
exactly. But me being mistaken, it happens.
Yeah,
Not
man.
perfect. Jared Goff with this Lions team is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Do I say that they're gonna beat the Chiefs week 1? Probably not, but they got a good chance.
Yeah.
They got a really good chance. So it's definitely gonna be a really good game to start off the week.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, well I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about in the NFL. Let's quickly go through the schedule real quick, man.
Some notable
Tomorrow,
games.
Lions and Chiefs. I like that they picked our boys from Detroit, bro. I like
Mhm.
it a lot. Lions and Chiefs, what do you expect, man? You know, hey, one thing before we make the prediction, one thing that people should know, if they haven't ever noticed when it comes to the NFL and even in the NBA, the first couple games, especially the very first one,
Mhm.
is up for grabs. Anybody can get it.
Up for grabs.
Anybody can lose.
Anybody.
So
Any given day of the week, anybody can get these hands.
if you a powerhouse of a team and you caught a L to a team that look like they should be bums, or if you caught a L, it's just
Also-
one game, and that's probably the only game that they win that season.
Also, we'll put in perspective right here. This is week 1.
This is week
Chris
one.
Jones ain't reported yet. Chris
Yeah.
Jones gonna be missing this game,
And they ain't got much
And
for
who knows?
defense.
and they ain't got much for defense. Also, they haven't confirmed Travis Kelce's gonna play. Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee
Yeah.
in practice just a couple days ago. Nothing's torn, but a hyperextension,
That
still
shit hurts.
affects you.
Still hurts.
Shit hurts. Yeah. So week 1 could be looking at a different Chiefs team.
Yeah.
And if it is, the Lions will take advantage of that, because the Lions, they look good on paper.
And as
They
far
got a
as,
really good rookie tight end in Sam Laporta. They got a really good rookie running back in Jahmyr Gibbs.
yeah.
Back up in David Montgomery. The Egyptian god, Amon-Ra St.
I
Brown.
was just about to say that.
The Egyptian god, Amon-Ra St. Brown, gonna pop off this year, man. Like, dude, with stating that Chris Jones isn't gonna be week 1, it's a little iffy on Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I take the Lions. I'm calling it right now. I'm gonna take Lions
Take the Lions.
in an upset. Yep.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs only because it's my homeboy. If I find out that
Yeah.
if I found out that my homeboy was struggling with something, anything, it could be the family issues or something.
His
then
brother.
I'd just be like, yeah, his punk ass brother who's in deep trouble right now. Because if I'm not mistaken, he is in deep trouble right now. He's dealing with
Think
like
he was.
a lawsuit
Yeah.
or something. But But yeah,
that being aside,
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, and I'm gonna say that it will be somewhat close because it is the very first game and people are hyped. They're ready for football. I'm not just talking about fans. I'm talking about the players
the
themselves.
players, man. First week is always just like a different beast, man.
It's a
Like,
different beast, different vibe,
The
man.
adrenaline hits you. Like, preseason's cool, but like, this is week one.
Yeah.
This is where it starts to matter.
And
This is where
And I feel like because the Lions are so young, sometimes that can work for you and work against you. Well, all the things that you just brought up about, the adrenaline and whatnot. Bengals and Browns. I'm gonna say Browns.
I'm gonna say Browns too.
Yeah, they added to their
first
their
full
pass rush.
Yep. And the first full season with Deshaun Watson. They got
Still got Nick Chubb.
yeah, Deshaun Watson, Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, Njoku. I mean, and the defense is solid. They got, honestly, the Browns have, I think, top 2, top 3 O-line.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna take the Browns on this one.
Texans Ravens.
This one is an interesting one because I mean, obviously, everyone's gonna take the Ravens because of Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna take the Texans because these 2 reasons alone. The backfield situation for the Ravens is very iffy. The wide receiver core is very iffy. Odell, Rashad Bateman, they're not solidified. They really only have Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Texans, even though CJ Stroud, young quarterback, but I feel like they got more structure.
Yeah, they do. They do have more structure. I'm a stick with the Ravens, and here's my answer. And it's not because of. I think a lot of people will just say reputation, just they're like on paper and all that kind of stuff. There's the Ravens, but you mentioned a lot of things that are question marks for the Ravens. But the thing is, you did bring up Lamar Jackson, who is a superstar for a reason. But we also know that their head coach is a brilliant mind. And I feel like this game will be a close one. And I feel like because of it being a close one, that is where experience will overcome the youth. So even though Lamar might be struggling with his receiving core and not having much help on the defensive side, if it's there in the fourth quarter, I want to go with the Ravens to seal the deal. That is my only reason. My only reason. Because I already said a lot of positive things about the Texans. Said a lot last year too. But to me, the Ravens, it's only because of experience. That's the reputation that I'm going with, not so much the reputation of names. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's experience.
For sure. I agree. It's agreeable.
Buccaneers,
Next
Vikings.
Game.
Vikings.
100%.
The ghost of Tom Brady is no longer there, bro. So
no, it's Baker Mayfield. Yeah, I don't see Bucks doing a lot.
There's I think there's a you need a whole season with Baker to make those weapons gel with him, because they do have weapons, but the dude, the way he throws is not like arm strength. It's full body into the throw.
Yeah.
So it's different, and so
and it's kind of tough because they still got Mike Evans, they still got Chris Godwin. I mean, Rashad White. I mean,
But you
as
know
a
what?
running back.
We'll know how their season goes after week 4.
Yeah,
When they
we'll see,
played
yeah.
4 games, I think we'll have a good idea of who they are.
Yeah, for sure.
Panthers and Falcons.
It was it's kind of a tough one. I'm gonna say Panthers.
I'm gonna say Falcons. Man, we just keep
Falcons?
disagreeing.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Panthers on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons. Because I expect that the young pieces that they had for the last 2 years continue to develop, especially their tight end, whose name is Kyle Pitts. I'm a huge Kyle Pitts fan. I think this dude is gonna be a big time superstar. I think he's gonna be a Hall of Famer, bro.
Yeah.
That's how much I believe in the guy.
They also got your boy Matt Collins over there.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Matt Collins, Drake London, Ricky running back Bijan Robinson.
Mhm.
Yeah, they got it. And they got Desmond Ritter, their quarterback.
Yeah. So I mean,
They're a good team.
They got some pieces, and they got Scott Miller, little Scotty Miller, really good slot receiver. And so I think there's enough there to beat the Panthers, because I mean, as much as we hype the Panthers, are they that much better than the Falcons?
True.
So I'd rather go with the Falcons personally. And it's more so because of Kyle Pitts. I don't see a superstar on the Panthers like the way I see a superstar on the Falcons, to me.
Yeah.
And that's the only tipping point. Otherwise, I would have probably went with Panthers. Cardinals, Commanders. Commanders all the way, bro.
Dude, the Cardinals are gonna be hot trash.
Screw
Hot
Kyler
garbage.
Murray, bro. Screw that dude.
Dude, they're gonna be, dude. And like week 5, Call of Duty comes out, so like, you already know Kyler's gonna be on the game.
That, and I was gonna say, I was gonna bring up the Call of Duty stuff, and I was gonna say that there's like all kinds of other new content for other games, like their battle passes, came out. So I know it's not just Call of Duty for him, but he's too distracted. Too many games came out, bro. Too many things going on in video games.
Commanders for sure.
I'm gonna say the Commanders not only beat them, but beat them by like a lot, like handedly. Like it wasn't
like
a big deal.
3 touchdowns.
2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3 touchdowns.
Jaguars, Colts.
I'm gonna take the Jags.
I'm gonna take the Jags as well, bro.
Jags, yeah.
I don't like to do it because of their quarterback. Long hair, don't care. But you know what?
Sunshine.
You know what? He just needed more time. I think he's gonna be developing nicely.
If Trevor Lawrence doesn't prove himself this season, I think he's a bust.
I will say he's a bust if you think he's transcendent.
True.
I will say he's not a bust as long as he's above average.
Yeah.
If he remains above average his whole career, he is not a bust because it's still franchise quarterback. He is only a bust if you thought he was going to live up to what people were saying about him.
Mm-hmm.
Niners, Steelers.
Yes. 49ers. 49ers.
If Bosa did not get signed, I would have went Steelers. I would have went Steelers, bro. Just because speed kills, bro.
This is gonna be a good game. No matter what.
Speed kills. You know that, man. Speed kills, and they got some speedsters on their team, dude.
Deontay Johnson.
Najee Harris.
Yeah.
For me, it's Najee Harris. That's what I would have said if Bosa wasn't playing this game. Najee Harris would punch it in. But unfortunately, Niners must have felt the same exact damn way because they signed him today. Titans Saints.
I'm gonna take the.
Ooh, this one is tricky.
It is. Now that I think
Ooh.
about it.
Are you going with the king? or are you gonna go with the new face in town?
I'm gonna take the Saints. I'm gonna take the Saints.
I don't know
I'm
who
gonna
to pick. I don't know who to
I'm gonna take the
pick.
Saints at home. Saints at home, bro. I'm gonna take the Saints at home. You know the Saints are good at home
Because it's at home. I'm gonna
because it's
do the
at
same.
home.
If it
Yeah.
was Titans at home, I would have said Titans only
Yeah.
because of home field. I think that's all it takes is you need that little extra boost. Oh man, Raiders Broncos. This one is tricky.
Yeah.
This one for me is tricky, man. And you know
This
what?
might be the hardest one.
You know what sucks about this too? Fresh legs for the defensive guys.
Yep.
Because otherwise, I'd say DA would tear this ass up. I'm being serious. Like I like Patrick Surtain. I like him a lot. I think he's gonna be the best cornerback in the league this year. I think he's gonna be labeled that. And so fresh legs on Devontae. Man,
I'm gonna take the Broncos. Broncos.
Dude, this one's hard, bro. This one's hard.
As coach now.
And that too, bringing out the
Cortland
best,
Sutherland,
holding people.
Jerry Judy.
You
Take the Broncos.
You said the names right there, bro. Because if the offense is there, then the defense is not really there for the Raiders.
Exactly.
Nate Hobbs is a good name, but what about the rest? I don't
And
put anybody on that.
You already know the thing with Chandler Jones going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take. Yeah, you gotta take the Broncos on that one. I mean,
if Max Crosby can turn it up, regardless of Chandler Jones' situation, but if Max Crosby can turn it up, then the Raiders have a chance. But because I don't know, I'm more comfortable leaning with the Broncos. So I'm with you. I'm with the Broncos on this one. And the Raiders just better hope and pray, bro. Hope and pray.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Eagles, Patriots, I think that's pretty easy.
Eagles.
I'm going with Bill Belichick's ass getting whooped. I'm not going to say Bill Belichick. Yeah, Eagles should get this thing down. No problem, bro. I don't care if it was in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, or the end of the season. It don't matter what time or place. The Eagles is winning this one.
Yeah.
Rams, Seahawks.
I'm gonna take the Seahawks.
Seahawks as well, man. I believe in Geno.
Geno, yeah. Not only Geno, is the Rams are just hot garbage. I mean, it's just a mess, you know.
There's
Geno,
so many
Walker, like DK,
there's so much options for the Seahawks offensively, and you know they just gotta like make sure that the O-line holds up as best as possible, and they'll be all good. Like that, the only person that they got to fear is Aaron Donald. That's it.
Yep.
Dolphins, Chargers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Another good one. The only thing for me that's making me pick this team is a certain player and how they're gonna perform. I'm taking the Chargers only because I'm not sure how Tua is gonna perform after his 2 setback concussions last year.
Man, this one for me is a little bit tough as well, because the thing about the Chargers is they have a very good beginning and a very good end. They never really have a good
A good
middle,
Yeah.
especially with the other Bosa brother and his health. And then like their defense wasn't that great, and they added Khalil Mack last year, you know, and both of them could not be healthy at the same time. And so that one's tough. I mean, I get it that their quarterback is real good, and I get it that their head coach can be very good, but both of them seem to get in their own ways. And I trust the Dolphins defense. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. And as predictable as their offense is, regardless of who's over there playing quarterback, um, again, speed kills. They're wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, the fastest dudes in the league, damn near. So I gotta go with the Dolphins, man. For me, yeah, that's just
Respectable.
how I feel personally.
This is another tough one. Yeah,
It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough game, I think. Packers Bears,
Hey,
battle of the two non-existent quarterbacks.
I'm gonna take the Packers.
I'm gonna take the Bears. Justin
The
Fields.
Bears?
Justin Fields, we've seen him have 300 rushing yards or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I'm gonna take the Packers. Just because, I mean, Jordan Love is he's showing some bright spots. Also, I really do like their running back core. They do
Definitely.
really
definitely.
good. So
I just don't trust Jordan Love's quickness in making decisions and his arm that
Sure.
much. I mean, I don't really trust Justin Fields that much, but Justin Field has had something that Jordan Love hasn't had the pleasure of having, which is to start games.
yeah,
That's it.
true. Yeah, that's the factor.
That's experience to me. I don't care if he only throws for 100 yards. It might be the most important 100 yards in the game.
Yep.
So that's why I'm going with the Bears.
Yeah,
Cowboys, Giants.
I'm gonna take the Giants at home. Giants at home.
Man, if you guys could only see me, I'm not making a side eye, man. I'm over here wiggling in my chair. Who do I want to? I mean, I know who I want to win, but who do I feel like my brain is telling me will win? That's the difference, because I never want the Cowboys to win, but my mind is telling me the Cowboys will win. And I think it's because it comes down to the defense, man. They might have in their possession the best youngest pass rusher in Micah Parsons, who will become possibly the best overall defensive player in the league this year. I'm saying overall, because they don't just play him at pass rush, and they also play him at linebacker. So, having that kind of stuff behind him, strength, speed, all that kind of stuff, man. I think that this is the year he might become the best defensive player in the NFL. And their defense is also last year, anyways, was the best scoring defense in the NFL. And
for sure.
Do the Giants have enough to overcome something like that, making any mistakes? I mean, Giants have Darren Waller. That's a big-time piece right there. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's going to be a pick six. So I'm going Cowboys. You go Giants.
Cowboys? Yeah.
Bills, Jets to cap it off. Last game of week 1.
Bills, Jets. on paper, two good teams. Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen.
Didn't D Hop go to Bills?
D Hop went to the Titans.
To Titans. That's what right. That's right. That's right. I remember I said that was a dumbass move. Would have went with Josh Allen, man.
Bills Jets on Monday, September 11th. It's going to be an emotional game in New York. Both teams going to be playing their hearts out. Fuck. I don't know. I'm going to.
I'm gonna go Bills, man.
I'm gonna have to go with the Bills, man. Just because it's just a new season with Aaron Rodgers on the Jets. You never know how it's gonna be. So the Bills have the same team from last year. I'm gonna go with the Bills.
For me, I feel like the Bills is one of those teams that's hard to like scheme for defensively because anything can happen. I mean, Josh Allen, he's not just a passing threat, but he's a running threat, man. And he got some good running backs. And he obviously has some really good wide receivers. I mean, one of them being Stephon Diggs, you know. And they got Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Dude, it's a lot of freaking talent, bro. So I feel like it might be a shootout.
Yeah.
I don't really fear the Bills defense, and I do fear the Jets defense to make stops, but the offensive weapons is what is, you know what I mean? It's not there. It's not on par with the Bills in my opinion. But I feel like that's why it's going to be kind of like a shootout in a way, because I feel like Aaron Rodgers can get them marching down the field, but I don't know if they'll score. So
True.
So that's what kind of what I meant by like, you know, shootout. Like we're going to see a lot of passing yards.
Yeah.
But what's the scoring going to be like? But so I'm going with the Bills for me personally.
Jets are another team. By week 4, we'll find out.
Yes.
How they are.
Absolutely.
Give them 4 games to get chemistry, and we'll find out. Like honestly, the only thing that's like different, making me pick the Bills is because there's not a lot of live game chemistry between these guys, you know. So we'll see though.
And I want to make one side note real quick, because you brought up by week 4, a team that we'll know a lot about by week 4. To me, in my opinion, Miami Dolphins, just because of what you had mentioned with Tua.
Yeah,
I think we'll know how Tua's doing health wise, and how far the Dolphins can go. If by week 4 he seems to be staying clear of any kind of concussions.
Definitely, yeah.
And that they can protect them too. That's the other thing, protecting them.
That was the key thing last year.
Is there any other team that you kind of need to know by week 4, week 5, anything like that?
Probably, definitely like the Broncos, Raiders. Both of those teams, honestly.
True that. I got to bring up another AFC team. But I think they're going to need a little bit more time, and that's the Steelers.
Yeah.
Because the Steelers did a lot of what like the Raiders did last year, where they went losing streak, went winning streak. went losing streak again, and then you know what I mean. So I think I need by week 6 for the Steelers to be like, okay, they finally got it figured out.
For sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So for me,
That
yeah,
wraps up the
that
week,
wraps
man.
up week 1, man. We spent a lot of time talking about NFL, but there was a lot of things. It's the first podcast back. We got some issues on our end, but we'll try to figure it out. I kind of think I know what happened, but I didn't want to like goof around with the camera and all that when we could just be live. But hopefully we'll get it figured out next time we go live. We're gonna like shoot for like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesdays. We're gonna shoot every week.
Yeah.
We'll start off the podcast. We'll start off just reviewing the week, the games, and then we'll
And by
end it
prediction.
talking the next week, the
Yep.
following week. So we feel like that's a good time of the week to, you know, really go over everything at the end of the week and the beginning of the new week
Yep.
and stuff like that. So
that's what we're gonna
we're
shoot
back,
for.
man.
We're back. Man, we were thinking about talking about some NBA, but I think I want to fix this camera, man. So I think what we'll do is when we talk about NBA,
we'll get all the
I think when we talk about the NBA, we won't go live. And so we'll record a video and upload it.
Yeah. We'll put out just a video, a quick video. You know, it's week 1 in the NFL, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to make it too long of a stream, but we'll record a video sometime this week. Just talking about, you know, the off season of the NBA, getting it going into the, you know, the preseason and everything like that. Stuff like that. But when we stream, it'll be for football for sure.
All right, guys. We'll see you again next time, man. We about to head on out, man. You guys have a great. What's up, man?
But before, this man has to do his job and tell y'all a few things.
What
to do?
Oh,
man, you
I already messed it up. I already messed it up, man.
Do?
I messed it up already, bro. You guys gotta like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see your team do good, you better do that. If you don't, then I hope you know all the L's that you guys catch throughout the season, that's on you because you didn't like, comment, subscribe to the 2-4 podcast. All right?
Absolutely.
And you better share the word to other people too, man. So this
spread
way,
the word, spread the love, man.
This way we can, continue to grow. And but if you don't want to hit the subscribe button, at least hit the like button, man, because the like button will allow other people to know that our page exists, man.
Yeah, helps out the algorithm, helps us reach us new fans.
Yeah, and if you do decide to hit subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and set it to all, so this way you're always posted on whether we're streaming, we post a video, we post a short clip, anything, man. It'll notify you right away. So, thank you guys, man. It's another one in the books. We're gonna call this season 2, man. Season 2 of the 2-4 podcast. Man.
Absolutely, man.
Let's get on out of here, man. You all have a good one, all right? Deuces, y'all.
Deuces.
Look at me, I'm all the way turned up. I ain't smoking, but my homie in here burnt up. Yeah, I'm working on him, but he straight though. Couple girls tryna twerk it on me, wait, no. Hold up. Before you even roll up, I'm in here with my lady, can't you see me, man, I'm sold up. Man, I'm in here tryna celebrate a birthday. And you know I'm good or well, it's a work day. No matter, we still gon' kick it, and we ain't getting trippy. No Molly